My name is Eleanor Dickens, and I'm telling my quilt story at the Maine Quilts 2018 in Augusta, Maine, on Friday, July 27, 2018. I think of this as my heirloom quilt because in my imagination, 100 years from now, someone will be saying, this quilt was made by my great, great, great someone, aunt, grandmother, whatever. Since it is a play on grandmother's flower garden design, I call it my flower garden. A friend and I attended the Paducah Quilt Show one year and happened to walk by a demonstration of English paper piecing. We decided to sit down and watch, and at the end, I was hooked. As soon as I got home, I took out floral fabric that I had used in a previous quilt and started making little hexagons. I made all the paper hexagon pieces myself. I hand basted all the fabric onto these little paper pieces, and then I started whip stitching some of them together. And as my collection grew, I started playing around with it and eventually came up with this center part of the quilt. Once I had done that, I had to figure out what to do on the corners and the edges. And I had a program called EQ5 on my computer, so I started playing with that. And I made some little designs like this. I made quite a few of them, but finally decided on the one that I put on here. And I used the printout as a roadmap to add the little hexagons as I went along. At the time, my job required me to travel quite a bit, so I made up little packets of fabric and paper pieces and took them with me to sew in the airport or wherever I happened to be. Once the quilt top was finished, I had to quilt it, and I had never hand quilted before. So I just started doing it, and I did it fairly well. It's not prize-winning quilting, that's for sure. But I got it done. It took me about 5 years. And I've entered this in several shows, and in one I tied for first in Viewer's Choice, and in the other one I had second place in Viewer's Choice. I've also continued with my English paper piecing. I use the more modern things now, like gluing the pieces instead of basting and all of that. But I do love doing this technique.